Hi, I'm Willie Thomas from Atlanta, Georgia. Good to be with you all here this morning. I got something I would like to share with you all this morning, and it's something kind of important. Um, what I would like to share with you all this morning, it is what is free will? Just the definition of free will. Now, I hope you all seen that. The reason I want to show it to you like that for a minute, because I want to let people know that people do have free will, and they always had free will. Um, the living God never created us to be robots. Never created us in other words, the living God, when it manifests us, gave us our free will. So in order for us to have free will, we couldn't be a robot. Um, um, when we was born, they say we was born into sin. It couldn't be possible. Because if we was born into sin, then we wouldn't have free will. Then Adam and Eve would made a choice for the whole world, taking away our free will. And then and there we would be forced to worship God, the living God, the way that the living God will want us to worship them. They never want us to worship them like in a format that you have to do this or this punishment would do it. They wanted us to love them just like we would love our own offspring that we have. It's just like when a woman have a child and a man and a woman have a child together. They don't have to be forced to love that baby. They gonna automatically just love that baby, regardless. Nothing gonna stop them from loving that baby. You know. Now I'm gonna tell you something. You got a whole lot of stuff out here. When a man and a woman have a baby, sometime when they start looking at other people's life and see how wealthy they is and they able to do this and do that. Now when they not able to provide for their child, now is that it's not that they don't love that child no more. They just wish that they can provide better. And sometimes they just give up. They give into, or I can't provide, so I just throw my hand in and whatever happen. That's not love right there. That's being selfish, you know? You know, you do the best you can. And your best is always good enough. Don't never think your best is not good enough. You provide for another human being and they need all of you. The most thing they need is your love, you know? If you can't even feed them every day, they need your love to help them, to nurture them, to grow and turn into the woman or man that they fin to become. That's what they need out of you more than anything. Now, I got a little sidetracked, but you know, sometimes things hit my mind and I just speak on it. Free will is very, very important for people to know that they have it. Because if a person don't think they have free will, then they think they up under some law, some dictator, ruler. They'll think they up under somebody gave laws on this earth to govern them by, and all that is not true. With your free will and your common sense that the living God give you, you know right from wrong. You know not to violate someone else. Once you violating someone else, then you're not acting on free will. You're acting on the force that you also have. Just like you got free will, you got force. Just like a person can live with love, peace, and harmony, respect everybody else's free will. Then they got that one other thing in them that is force. They can force themselves on someone. They can force someone to do what they want them to do. They can force someone to try to believe what they're saying. And right then and there, they're compromising another person's free will. Free will is not forced upon you. When somebody making you do something, that is force. Free will is something that you do. It's your own decision, where you want to get up in the morning to have breakfast or have a cup of coffee, or where you just want to just start your day and then later on get you something to eat around noontime. That's its free will in its reality. That's its free will in its best. You have the power to control you. Anytime when you're trying to control someone else, now you're trying to force someone else to do what you need them to do. That's not free will. So we have to realize free will is something that it was put in us from birth by the living God for us to operate our free will in good. I mean, what is good? Good is something that you doing your free will and you're not hurting nobody, you're not bothering nobody. In other words, you're allowing that person to have their free will as well as you have yours. I know I'm saying a lot about free will and I'm not, going to each definition. And I know how people want people to explain things to them to the fullest. But this called a talk with Willie T. I talked to a person common sense. What was here first? Common sense or intelligence? Of course, common sense was here first. So when the living God wants you to receive something, then when a person just talking to your common sense, you would receive it. If I'm trying to use my intelligence, then I can trick you with that. I don't want to do that. I want to say something. I want it to be as simple. I want it to be as plain. I want, even if a baby hear, they can understand it. We as human beings, again, when we're dealing with free will, we got to know that 100% that the living God gave us that when we came into the world. The living God give us a lot of things that we don't really need to go searching for because we have it within ourselves. We just need to learn how to activate it. We need to learn how to go to it. And once we can go to it and we can resonate it, then therefore we can tap into what the living God already put in us. I like to say this again, and I done said this through a few videos. No man or no woman can take you to the living God. You have to take yourself to the living God. Believing in idol worship, believing in all these false gods here on earth, that's not leading you to the living God. They're taking you far away from the living God. The living God already gave you a code, gave you 4 things to contact them. When you came into the world, don't nobody have this code but you. The living God, you was created from that same thing that the living God created. No man or no woman know the living God's name. You was created from that. At once upon a time, no one know your name. You had to be appointed a name once you arrived here on earth. You was appointed a name, a date of birth, whatever state you reside in, and the vessel that brought you into the world. Them 4 things right there, when you introduce yourself to the living God, you have a direct line with you and the living God. So you can talk and you can walk with the living God. No one have that but you. But you have to learn how to tap into it, and you have to learn how to access it so you can operate it. It's just like I'm talking to you. It's no different. You should never offer your prayers up in nobody named Jesus, Allah, Buddha, or Bill, because they'll cancel you out because you offering up a name, but it's not your name, it's the wrong name. The living God wants to hear from you. Everybody in this world have a name. Everything in this world have a name. Every street, every highway, every building, everything have a name, and that's for a reason. That's so it can be identified. You have a name when you come in the world. When you came from no name and you was appointed a name, it will so the living God can identify from your world when you call on them. Hey, I got to get ready to go to work. I can continue, but I'm going to leave it there because I have already spoke on this before. And I just want to kind of like share a little light on it with your free will. That's what we're trying to do with our free will. Connect our living God with our free will. We don't want nobody to take that away from us. We don't want nobody to say we have to follow man-made laws and biblical books that they said the living God said these things, and the living God ain't said none of them things. Man just done rant and said things. It's a reason why the living God never told no man or no woman here on earth their name, because the living God knows that men and women were blaspheming their name and will put words in their mouth. Even without them knowing the living God name, they still did it. So we have to be sure that we don't get caught up in that. We have to really tap in what the living God done gave us and stand on the sun, the moon, and the stars that we know the living God have created, and not the biblical books that man and women done made from the earth. Hey, my name is Willie Thomas. I got to get ready to go to work. Keep subscribing to my channel. I'm going to be on here tomorrow to say something else to you all. And I hope we can keep on just sharing information and keep growing. Thanks. And may the living God bless you. Bye-bye.